Hello, welcome back. So, in this lecture, we are going to continue our discussion about JavaFX with the coding examples. Okay, so this is for chapter 11, JavaFX. The first coding example is the textbook JavaFX example 1 about a shopping list. So let's see how do we code that, okay? And for JavaFX, there are a lot of packages you need to import and classes, okay? And well, the best to get quite familiar about JavaFX is to read its documentation, okay, JavaFX application documentation. So we know that which UI control we can use, what properties the UI controls can provide. Okay, so let's take a look. This example, okay. So first, let's take a look at the big picture of this application. It's a little bit different from what we have learned so far. And so for Java FX application, so it extends the application, because this application is from Java FX. So you need to extend from this class. And it still has that main method. So we don't need to do any programming for the main method. It's just to launch the application. And the launch point is with this start function, okay? And for this start method, the start method, it needs to, the parameter is, you see, it's a stage. If you recall, that's the bottom layer, okay? So we need to configure the stage, and this is the primary stage. In this example, it's just one stage, so single stage application. And this application, if you recall in our previous discussion, it's about that grade pane, okay, about the shopping list. Okay, so that's the primary stage. So for the stage, we want to have a title with it, so we can provide the title name, okay, with a string, just a title. It's just like, you see, like my Eclipse, is it? So this is the title part, okay. And then we are going to have the grade pane. We create a grade pane, okay, an instance. We want it centered, so alignment, and you can also set a horizontal and vertical gap. That's the gap between the two columns or the two rows, okay? And you can also set padding around the four sides of the grade. Okay, so that's a grade. You can set paddings. Okay, so that's the grade pane. We already set it up. So all of this is regarding layout design. Okay, yeah. So you have the grade pane. And then next we have a text. We call it a title. Okay, it's a shopping list. So that's the title part. Okay, and then the font you can set. Okay, you can check the documentation. And then you can add this control. So this is a UI control to the grade pane. We call the add. Okay, and this is where to add. Okay. So it's going to be add at 0, 0, okay? So row, the first row and the first column, but it's going to span the two column, okay? and with one row. That's how it works here. Okay, so this one add, and what the next one we are going to add? We are going to add a list view. Okay, this list view is composed of a number of string, and the string comes from, and if you want to, because later on we are also going to see it's not just a regular string, okay? We also want the item in the list view uh, uh, be interacted with user. So that's why over here we put it as observable list string. Okay, observable list. Okay, and it can be created with JavaFX. It's a collection observable array list, and then you just provide the item. Okay. Then we are going to add this array list view. So this is a list view. This is at the second row and first column. Is that the same thing? It's going to span two columns. Okay, so you add it. And then next we create a text field. Okay, so the text field is going to be added at the first column and the fifth. So there are a couple of blank rows. And then we are going to have this text field. Text field allow you to input. Okay, so it is, oh, this is 0, 1. Okay, this is going to be 0, 4. So the fifth row, okay, span two column, only one row, okay. So that's the text field. And what next? What next we add are the buttons. Here we have an add button. Okay, the button first are going to be added to a horizontal box. Okay, so horizontal box it says okay, position bottom right. And to add the button to the horizontal box, you call get children and then that add and add the button to the horizontal box. So it's going to be added at the second column and the seventh. Okay, so we have 4, 5, 6. So over here, the second column. Here is a button, so add button. Okay, so same thing for the remove button. It's going to be added there. Okay, so this is 1, 6, and this is 0, 6. Okay, button added. And then we add another text called completed text. Okay, it's going to be add at 0, 8. Okay, and so that's whatever the text. Okay, text. So that's the layout. Okay, and then take a look here for the list of view. We also make it editable. Okay, editable. Okay, so the list box is editable. Editable. We are going to see. Okay, and it will be set and for the list view. Okay, and then next, let's see what else we have here. So you can see for JavaFX application, when you design it, you need to spend quite efforts for the layout design. Okay. Okay, and then because here we have button, is it? Button will do some action if you click on it, is it? So how that works? Yeah, basically that button has a function called set on action. Okay, and if you take a look at this set on action, so this set on action method, what's plugged in is some event handler. Is it? And this event handler type is action event. Okay, action event. And basically, what this part is an anonymous class. Okay, so you create an instance. The type is some concrete class that's going to implement this event handler. So this is I remember this is a functional interface. Okay, event handler is an interface. And it has the only method called a handle. Okay, so it will do the user interaction if you click it. Okay, and the handle will take the action event. What it does is whatever uh, the text box, the input. So this new item is here, is it? So if it is not empty, is it? You are going to add this to the list view. So you add it to the list view. So that's what it does. Okay, so here we can see, yeah, anonymous class that we discussed in chapter 10, okay, is used here. Okay, so in this chapter, you're going to use a lot for anonymous class and lambda expression, okay, for the JavaFX. So similar for the remove button, it's user interaction. Okay, what it does is, well, let's see what it does. So the add button is going to add whatever input from text box to the end of the list view. Is it? So the remove button, what it does is so similar. Okay, that use anonymous class to complete the implementation for this method. It needed to implement that handle a single abstract method. Okay, so you first want to get the selected because you're going to select an item from the list view. Okay, and I, if the item you selected is it, you want to remove it. Okay, you get the item you want to remove. And after you remove the item, the list view, so it's item, is it you want to, so you remove this, is it, and you want the one before it be also highlight. So that's what this part does. Okay, so new selected index. So if it is not the last, then you can keep it, okay? And then you can remove the selected one, okay? And you put your highlight to the one that's before it. And at the same time, we have a complete text set, what the item is going to be removed. Okay, so that's about the remove button, okay? How to make it action. And if you recall previously we just complete the layout for the container. And in this case, we only have one container. So we have the same. So this is the same, okay? And we have that grade. So in this case, this is a grade. The grade has a title, okay, then list view, okay, and some other text and a button. Okay, and some output text, some input text box, okay, something like. So we put everything in this grade. Okay, grade pane. Okay, so then you're going to add this grade pane to the thing, and this is the size of the thing. Okay, and then you set this thing on the primary stage, and then you show it. So the window is going to show. Okay, so that's the layout design and the user interaction, so event handling. Okay. And next, let's take a look at the running result, what it looks like. Hold on, okay. Probably I need to do the share because otherwise you may not be able to see the share screen. Okay. So that we start to run that, and this is our application, so we run it. Yeah, so if you take a look at that, so this is the application. So we have the title, and this is that list view. Okay, we have initially we have 3 items, and we can also add. Okay, so apple, orange, and like you can add milk with it. If you click add it. Okay, and you can add eggs. Okay, it can be added. Okay. And then we can also add dessert. Okay, we can also add beer. Yeah, you can add, you see. And then you can also select to remove that, like suppose we want to remove cheese. Okay, you select it and you remove. You see the highlights still there. So that's what that part of coding works. And also the item removed, it will be shown here. Okay. Okay, so that's the first example for our Java FX, and we are going to come back to the second example in a little while. See you.